Students, in this session we are going to conduct the tensile test of mild steel specimen. So, as the name says, tensile test. So, briefly, I want to review the concept of tensile loading. So, purposely I am keeping this rubber in my hand so that I can show you how we are applying the tensile load on any specimen, and further we will see how the tensile load will be applied on mild steel specimen through universal testing machine. So you can see this rubber, why I am keeping, because I can stretch it from my hand when I will be applying the tensile load. So you can see I am pulling from both the sides, or you can see I am applying the load away from the specimen. You can see here the specimen is stretched. Again, if I will increase the load, there is an extension. Further, if I will increase the load, you can see there is an extension. This tensile testing of mild steel specimen is very important for the mechanical engineering students and the civil engineering students. So, how we are going to conduct this test, I am going to show you. You can see this is the actual specimen on which I am going to perform the tensile test. So as I was applying the load on this rubber specimen through my hand, it is not possible. You can see on this steel, if you will apply, you cannot stretch it more, or you cannot stretch it. You can see. So we will be performing the tensile test on the universal testing machine. You can see here, and the specimen which I am keeping, this is all designed as per the ASTM standards. It stands for American Society for Testing and Materials. So, in this universal testing machine, or commonly known as UTM, very interestingly, why universal? Because on a single machine we can perform tensile test, we can perform compressive test, we have the provision to conduct the bending test or flexural test. Further, we can conduct strength test, hysteresis test. So, on a single machine, we can perform many of the standard tests of the materials, and the name is universal testing machine. So, let's see the machine. This machine has basically two units. This is the loading unit where we are going to fix this specimen, and this is the place where we will be fixing the specimen. We have the provision to slide this. You can see how this is moving down, and further we have the jaw there. We can fix it in the jaw and we can fit it. Further, after fitting these two portions, you can see one portion is upside, another one is the lower side, and this will give the tensile kind of loading on this specimen. So our purpose will be served. So this is the loading unit. Further, you can see this unit here we have to provision to apply the load. Also, you can take the reading here. You can see load is there, displacement is there, or deformation. You can note down. You can see the buttons up, down, start, and you can see here pump is there, because this machine has a provision to apply the load through hydraulic system. That's why pump is there. Just now you have seen how we are moving this cross head. So this is coming down and this is going up. So this is all for setting the specimen, and when after the test we have to take out the specimen. Further, you can see this is connected through the computer, where once the test will start, it will record the data, it will plot the curve of stress and strain. Now you can see how we are taking the observation from the specimen. Before taking the observation, I want to show you the observation table. Here you can see I have divided it into three sections. One is the before test, during test and after test. Before test, I need to take two dimensions. One is the length of the specimen and another one is the initial diameter of the specimen. So you will see how we are going to take the length of the specimen. So here I can take it. This length is coming. I am noting down. It is 100 mm. And now, what is the diameter of this specimen? Because further we will be calculating stress, so we will require the cross section area. So this is a cylindrical specimen, or you can see the cross section is circular one. So the diameter, I am ready with the diameter. This is very easy to measure. You can do it by the caliper. So it is coming 12 mm. So you can see I have gripped the specimen in the jaw. Here you can see the specimen for which I have already taken the initial length and the initial diameter. Now I am going to apply the load on the specimen, or through this loading unit or controlling unit I will apply the load on the specimen. So just I am going to start. You can see. So we will apply the load till the fracture of this specimen, and you can see the specimen will break at the fracture point, and the computer and the data, computer is already recording all the data. So finally, at certain load, the specimen is going to break. Let's see. So, a student, you can see just now we have taken out the specimen from the machine, and after the tensile test I have already given that some of the reading I will take after the test and some of the reading I will take during the test. So whatever the reading I was supposed to take during the test, it is in the computer, and some of the reading I have to take from the specimen. So you can see what I need to measure. Finally, I need to measure this final dia, and this final dia, it is coming 10.5 mm, that I can see, and the final length of the specimen, as I have already marked the gauge length, so I have to again measure that. So it is near about this. The gauge length is coming x 110 mm. So these two reading we are already having initial length of the specimen, initial diameter of the specimen, Further, I have taken after the test final length of the specimen. You can see the elongation. Initially it was 100 mm, now it is 110 mm. And you can see the final diameter. Initially it was 12 mm and it has reduced to 10.5 mm. You can see. And this is called the necking portion, where necking has done and the fracture has occurred. And this is also known as cup and cone fracture, as the mild steel is a ductile material. Now I am going to the computer unit because I need to take the readings what was supposed to take during the test. Here you can see the plot has also made and the reading is already here. So I will note down the reading and you can see what we are going to do in the calculation part. We have the initial readings, we have the final readings. At each load we have the deformation data, means change in length. The computer is giving the reading because this unit or this UTM unit is fitted with a extensometer which gives all the readings corresponding to the applied load. So suppose I have all the load data, I will write it here. Load divided by initial cross-sectional area. Initial cross-sectional area, how will you calculate? As the cross-section was circular, so you can apply the formula pi by 4 dA square. So you have the diameter, that is original dia. At each load you will divide it by the area, so you will get the stress data. Further, at each load we are already having the deformation data, that is change in length, and you have the original length, so you can calculate change in length by original length. So at the each load you will have the stress, you will have the strain, and you will be able to plot the curve between the stress and strain. So once the data is ready for the stress and strain, you can plot. Further, you have the initial diameter and the final diameter, so you can calculate the percentage reduction in area. You have the initial length, you have the final length, so you can calculate the percentage change in length. And in the stress strain curve, one thing you need to make, within the proportional limit you have to find the slope, and that slope will nothing but dy by dx. It will give you the stress by strain, and within the proportional limit, if you are calculating the slope, it will give you the modulus of elasticity. So this much for the tensile test.